An Olympic opening ceremony. It's called the All-Athlete Ceremony.
And as we heard during this past hour, it's sort of an off day for the athletes. They've been running around town, going to restaurants, but they do have one duty tonight. All 560 of them are going into the Coliseum, and they'll march in, and it's sort of an international celebration with 32 countries here.
You'll show your colors, and there'll be flags representing the different countries, and it'll really be something to see.
And fans will get a chance to meet with the athletes afterwards and get autographs. There's a line to get into the Coliseum, so I'm not sure everybody's going to get in, but what a great event. It goes on through Sunday here at the Alliant Energy Center. Down, check it out, or watch it on CBSSports.com. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow. News 3 at 5 starts right now.
Right now at 5, Beloit police continue to look for 2 suspects after 2 people were shot yesterday evening. An investigation is underway in Madison after a deli was shot at with BBs more than 60 times. And learn how the Democrats running for governor differ on their views of the Foxconn deal.
This is News 3 at 5.
Thanks for joining us at 5. Police are asking for your help tonight in finding a suspect on the run after a double shooting in Beloit last night. News 3's Adam Duxter has the latest from Rock County.
The search is still on for the suspect in last night's double shooting, but today Beloit police releasing who they're looking for, 20-year-old D'Angelo Thomas.
Thomas is the man police suspect opened fire on both a 41 and 15-year-old last night in Beloit. According to Beloit PD, Thomas knew both of the men he shot at. Now police say they're working with Illinois police to track Thomas down.
We've been collaborating with Rockford Police Department, with our Illinois partners and other Wisconsin partners to get as much information that we can to locate and arrest Mr. Thomas.
Police say communication is key when it comes to finding the suspected shooter.
Not only is it communication between departments, but it's communication within the community. That's one reason why we feel it's important to let the community know what's going on, that the community is safe, that it was an isolated incident, and how we collaborate with other agencies that we're actively looking for Mr. Thomas.
But police are still asking for help.
But we are asking the community to, if they know the whereabouts of Mr. Thomas, to call 911 or call the non-information line at 757-2244.
Earlier today, I spoke with the family of the 41-year-old victim who say they've known Thomas for years. Police are still actively on the search for him, but say they don't believe he's a threat to the public at this time. In Beloit, Adam Duxter, WISC News 3.
As for the 2 victims, the 41-year-old man is listed as stable but still in critical condition. The 15-year-old boy is stable. We are learning more information about the fatal crash involving 6 vehicles that happened yesterday on Interstate 9094 in Juneau County. The multi-vehicle crash involved 3 semi-trucks, 2 SUVs, and a motorcycle. Officials said the driver of a tanker truck struck traffic that was slowed down ahead of him. The Wisconsin State Patrol says a 60-year-old man driving a motorcycle and a 64-year-old Linden Station man driving a semi-tractor were both killed. One of the trucks then blew up and caught on fire. Officials estimate more than 6,000 gallons of diesel fuel spilled at the crash scene. Lanes were shut down for just over 12 hours. The trial for the Middleton man accused of killing his landlord continues. John Hammond is accused of hitting 82-year-old Agnes Bram in the head multiple times inside her University Avenue home in Middleton last year. A forensics expert with the Department of Justice testified today. He said that the blood evidence found in the house suggests Bram's body had been moved from the inside of the house and into the garage where she was found by investigators.
So from the photos I was provided, her head would have been in the proximity of that large, heavy pool, and her torso was next to the white bucket, and her legs were on the rug next to the step with the green rug on top of it.
Hammond faces a first-degree intentional homicide charge. The trial is expected to last at least through the end of the week. Imagine walking into work first thing in the morning and seeing that it was shot at more than 60 times. Well, that's what the owners of Stalzy's Deli are dealing with today. Jamie Perez spoke with them earlier this afternoon and got a first-hand look at the damage. Jamie?
That's right. Well, this was a really scary situation for the owners of the deli, as you can probably imagine. They say they have no idea who might have done this, and they had no disgruntled employees or customers that they know of. So this was something that they're calling a simply unfortunate act. Take a look at the damage here on your screens. There is a lot of broken glass along the windows of the deli, as well as the front window of their delivery truck. Now, while insurance is paying for most of it, it's still going to cost them around $1,000 to replace it all, something one of the owners says is not ideal.
As far as cost, of course, any cost that isn't necessary is a bummer, but you know, it's unfortunately not going to cost too much. We're thinking around $1,000.
It's still $1,000 more than you would have liked.
It's $1,000 that we could have spent somewhere else, that's for sure.
The damage that you see there is from a BB gun, according to police, so thankfully no one there was injured. Now, police are saying that if you have any information or saw anything happen around this area Tuesday night, you are asked to call Crime Stoppers. Their phone number is 608-266-6014.
Jamie, thank you. The Humane Society of Southern Wisconsin is cleaning up after a break-in. Police are investigating after someone broke into the Janesville facility sometime last night. Employees say no pets were hurt, but they will need to order a new front door and do some other repairs as well. If you want to help cover some of the repair costs, you can send or drop off a donation at the shelter. Let's get a look at your first alert weather. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti is in the Weather Center now. Gary?
Hi, Charlotte. We started out the day with mostly cloudy skies. From Madison southward, though, we started to get some sunshine. And you can see this on the visible cloud track. Areas north of Madison stayed socked underneath the clouds for much of the day, although even those clouds are starting to break up a bit. But as temperatures fall off, we may see more clouds and some fog form overnight. A line of thunderstorms developed over parts of Michigan into northwestern Indiana. A couple of severe thunderstorms in southwestern lower Michigan, but no rain expected here across Wisconsin. Low temperatures this morning started out around 60 degrees thanks to the cloud cover and the fog after last night's showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures right now are in the middle 70s here in Madison, as warm as 81 in Janesville. But notice to the north where the cloud cover is thicker, temperatures are staying in the 60s north of the Dells. Dew point temperatures are in the upper 50s to lower 60s. So as temperatures fall off tonight and they get close to that dew point, we'll start to see some areas of fog form as well as some patchy fog. Temperatures will drop down into the middle to upper 50s by early tomorrow morning with some patchy fog. Tomorrow, look for skies to turn partly sunny. It'll be very mild with a high temperature of 79. That's your first alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. The primary election in Wisconsin is coming up on August 14th. Polls last month showed most voters are still undecided. Here at News 3, we asked the Democrats running for governor where they stand on a variety of issues. Rose Schmidt sat down with all 8 candidates and is here to tell us their positions on today's focus, jobs and the economy.
Well, Charlotte, you may remember the Taiwanese company Foxconn broke ground in June on a new plant in the southeastern part of our state. It's a deal championed by Governor Scott Walker. I asked the Democratic candidates where they stand on that deal and other issues affecting our state's economy. Here are the responses from 4 of those 8 Democrats.
So maybe not necessarily negotiating the old deal, but having a working relationship that pushes them forward in a positive way is the best way forward.
In the short term, probably there's going to be a lawsuit. Probably we're going to have to renegotiate that contract. The contract is very poorly written.
We have to set up a regional transit authority and make sure Foxconn's accountable to taxpayers. So I would look at restructuring the deal.
What I would do would be to bring suit immediately for declaratory judgment, declaring in federal court, declaring that that is an illegal contract and illegal contracts are not enforceable in Wisconsin.
There are many things that the state can do to attract young workers. First of all, I would make two-year and tech college tuition free.
I think we stimulate job growth from the bottom up. I think helping out small businesses and giving incentives to small business owners and helping out entrepreneurs.
I would also provide for free tuition in in-state public universities for in-state students for the first 2 years, which I think will keep quite a few here.
What I'm proposing is kind of a one-stop shop for new businesses to get, including our agriculture businesses, our family farmers, to get access to capital, to be able to understand how they can use technology to increase productivity and to bring in innovation.
Governor Walker has dedicated $6.8 million to attracting young workers to Wisconsin and has been running advertisements for Wisconsin in Chicago. Tonight on News 3 at 6, you'll hear from the other 4 candidates, Paul Soglin, Mike McCabe, Kelda Royce, and Tony Evers. And you can find all of their responses, including where they stand on raising the state's minimum wage and other issues, on our website, channel3000.com.
Rose, thank you so much. And in Sun Prairie, first responders will be recognized before the start of competition tomorrow at the Reebok CrossFit Games. As part of Military and First Responder Appreciation Day, the Games will welcome all military personnel and first responders, but will specifically recognize attendees from Sun Prairie at 9 a.m. They will be recognized for their efforts to help the Sun Prairie community during and after the recent explosion that devastated part of downtown and killed Captain Corey Barr. They will also receive free admission into the games. There's a special call for action phone bank happening tonight to help you solve any consumer problems you might have with a company over a bill. You can usually get a hold of our volunteers over the lunch hour 3 times a week, but if you normally work then, you can give them a call right now. Leah Lynchide is live in the newsroom where the call-in just started. Hi, Leah.
Hi there, Charlotte. Yeah, take a look. We've got 5 call for action volunteers here, and almost all of them are on the phone, and we just started this call-in about 8 minutes ago. Now, they and me, for that matter, we're staying here a little later in our day to try and find more success stories to help you out with your consumer problems. Here's one of those success stories we recently solved. Gregory Anderson lives in Janesville. He had his power shut off for weeks because of a payment issue between he and his roommates, his landlord, and the local energy company. Even after his landlord paid that bill and Greg called the company, the house was still dark. A bigger problem because Gregory is diabetic. He needs electricity to keep his house from getting too hot.
Every time I called, I got a different story from a guy. And finally, your station called me back and they got involved. And the next day I got a call from some of their executives, 2 different calls, and they were a little concerned because I had got the media involved. I said, if that's what it takes, you guys should have refunded this check a month ago.
Now, Gregory called for action on our website. Our volunteers worked with the power company and got results almost immediately. His power is back on today. Now, we want to help more people like Gregory. Maybe you haven't been able to call our volunteers in the past because you're working during the day when they're available. Well, that's what these evening hours are for, to give you a chance to call in and see if we can work on your issue and get it resolved. Starting right now and going through 7 tonight, we're going to be around. The number right there on your screen, that's 608-270-2833. Give us a call, see what we can help you out with tonight, Charlotte.
Leah Lynchide in our newsroom. Leah, thank you so much. People living on Madison's north side are hoping the site of the former Oscar Mayer plant will soon be redeveloped. Last year, Madison's Common Council established the Oscar Mayer Strategic Assessment Committee to recommend a plan for redeveloping the site. Former Alder Satya Conway Rhodes is on that committee and is running for mayor. She says while the private landowners have the final say, people on the north side hope their ideas are considered.
I think that they're really focusing on leasing of the buildings that they can use now. They're trying to lease them out, but there's a lot of open space on the site, and there's also some buildings that probably can't be reused. So I think that they're looking to lease what they can and then think about redeveloping over time the buildings that can't be leased right away.
Tonight's meeting begins at 6 o'clock at the Warner Park Community Recreation Center on Northport Drive. There's more to come on News 3 at 5. Up next, why the Trump administration is worried about the Russian meddling in the U.S. elections again. And an Iowa family continues to search for their daughter who is missing after going for a jog. Dow down 7, NASDAQ is up 96, and the S&P up almost 14. We'll be right back after this. Trump administration intelligence officials announced the United States is under attack from Russia. The intelligence chiefs say so far they are not seeing attacks on election infrastructure, such as voting machines. Instead, Russians are focused on manipulating social media to divide Americans. FBI Director Christopher Wray says the government and private sector are working together to stop the attacks.
We're sharing with them actionable intelligence in a way that wasn't happening before. But in turn, we learn things from them, and we can use that to have our investigations be more effective.
This week, Facebook announced it detected and removed 32 pages and fake accounts engaged in activity around divisive social issues. While police in Iowa search for a missing jogger, Molly Tibbetts, her family has established a reward fund they hope will bring her home. The family of 20-year-old Molly Tibbetts believes the missing college student has been kidnapped. $172,000 of reward money is now being offered to her captors or anyone else who has information about where she is. Tibbetts vanished while jogging in Brooklyn, Iowa on July 18th. She was living with her boyfriend this summer, who had a message to her captors.
You know, if they're listening, then I would just like them to know that, imagine this was you. Just do the right thing and, you know, let her go.
Tibbetts was believed to be wearing a Fitbit when she disappeared, and authorities are hoping data from that will help track her down. Ohio State football coach Urban Meyer is on paid administrative leave while the university investigates a claim he knew a former assistant coach had a history of alleged domestic abuse. Zach Smith's ex-wife accuses him of abusing her for years, most recently in 2015. Meyer acknowledges he knew about a 2009 incident when he hired Smith, but says he didn't hear of the latest allegation until last week. Smith says she told Urban Meyer's wife, Shelley, about the incident in 2015.
Shelley, she said she was going to have to tell Urban. She was going to have to tell Urban. I said, that's fine. You know, you should tell Urban. We can't have somebody like this coaching young men.
I was never told about anything. Never anything came to light. I never had a conversation about it.
Smith was fired after he was charged with criminal trespassing, and his wife was granted a protective order against him. Ohio State said in a statement it is conducting an investigation and is focused on supporting our players and on getting to the truth as expeditiously as possible. And let's go now to Chief Meteorologist Gary Canolti with a look at our forecast. Hi, Gary.
Hi, Charlotte. We started to get rid of the clouds this afternoon, and that actually made a difference in temperatures, especially from Madison southward. Getting a little sunshine got temperatures up a little warmer than first expected. Let's start out by taking a look at the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook. And you can see that we're expecting temperatures to be above normal through much of through much of Wisconsin and through pretty much most of the northern portion of the United States. The only exceptions will be the southeastern part of the country and the Pacific Northwest. And for some reason, it looks like my graphics have locked up. So why don't you just come back to me on camera? I'll talk a little bit about the forecast. We are looking for a little more sunshine for tomorrow. High temperatures will be up around the 80-degree mark, but we'll add the heat and humidity as we head into Saturday. Now, we've got a high temperature of 90 in the forecast. The heat index will probably be somewhere in the 93 to 98 degree range. So we do have an alert day in the forecast for Saturday for the high heat and humidity. Otherwise, by Sunday, we'll start to see some scattered showers and thunderstorms later in the day, perhaps probably late afternoon or evening. So before that happens, high temperatures will be in the middle 80s. And then as we head into the early part of next week, we'll see a little bit of a drop in the temperatures. There'll be some shower and thunderstorm chances on Monday. High temperatures will be in the lower 80s, and it looks like we'll stay right around 80 or a little bit above through pretty much all of next week. However, there will be a chance of a shower or thunderstorm lingering into Tuesday. Just a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, another little chance of a shower or thunderstorm as a weak cold front comes through. But temperatures will stay right around the 80-degree mark even through the following weekend. Now, obviously, my graphics aren't working, but there are delays on the belt line, especially in the eastbound direction, beginning around Monona Drive and going west of Verona Road. So that area there, I expect slow travel times over a half hour from University Avenue to the interstate. Going back in the westbound direction, about a 20-minute commute, and with some slowdowns between about Todd Drive and Monona Drive. Otherwise, heading southward out of Madison down toward Janesville on I-3990, about an average travel time of around a half hour. Heading up to Sauk City, there are some delays on Highway 12 northbound out of Middleton. Otherwise, about a 20-minute commute to Sauk City and about a 20-minute commute to Sun Prairie on US 151 and East Washington Avenue. That is your first alert traffic.
Gary, quick question for you.
Sure.
So we're going to be into the 80s for the extended period of time. What's the average around this time of year?
Average high temperatures around 80. So that, I mean, other than this weekend, I think we'll see pretty average temperatures. The humidity levels will be high, though, for this weekend, and it'll make it feel about 5 to 10 degrees warmer than the actual temperature.
All right. Summer's still hanging on. It's a good thing
It
for
is.
those of us who like summer. Gary, thank you.
Sure.
Ahead on News 3 at 5, how big restaurant chains are going beyond meat. We'll look at the high-tech burgers when we come back. Welcome back. People who want to avoid red meat but can't give up those burgers now have a new option to satisfy the craving. A growing trend in the food industry is using high tech to create a burger that goes beyond meat. Kenneth Craig digs in.
It looks like any other burger, but this patty could be the future of protein.
We're a company that's focused on one thing, and that's to build meat directly from plants.
Ethan Brown is the CEO and founder of Beyond Meat.
All the way down.
At the company's new Los Angeles facility, scientists and chefs work together to recreate the flavor, aroma, and texture of meat using plant-based ingredients. NFL wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins is an investor.
Them telling me I can get the same amount of protein as eating this as a burger, and it sparked my attention.
Brown says his lab creation is a healthier product that also addresses animal welfare and environmental concerns.
The Beyond Burger has gone beyond the lab. It's now sold in stores and restaurants, including big chains like TGI Fridays.
Impossible Foods is also in the meatless meat race, making vegan burgers sold at White Castle.
It ends up being this pretty highly processed food because they're trying to mimic a beef burger.
Nutritionist Alyssa Rumsey has reservations.
I think that, there's this sort of health halo around the idea of plant-based. And just because something is plant-based doesn't mean that it's made with like whole vegetables or whole grains.
But Beyond Meat says consumers are eating it up, buying 13 million Beyond Burgers and counting. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, New York.
We'll have another check on weather when we come back.
Tonight on the CBS Evening News, we will have more on a toxic red tide stretching hundreds of miles in Florida. New questions over why a veteran was shot by police in Colorado. And 50 years after his debut on Peanuts, how Franklin changed the comic and the country. That's tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Finally, at 5, Colorado officials are warning people not to leave their cars unlocked, and it's not because of thieves, but because of bears. The latest warning came after a trapped bear trashed the inside of a car. Officials had to get creative, using a rope to open the doors to get that bear out. No one was injured. And the bear, as you see, scampered off into the woods. Furry trespasser absolutely tore through the interior to shreds and left behind a half-eaten banana.
I just got back from Alaska, seeing bears, and they kept telling you, Don't feed the bears. Be careful when you're with your car, you know. So, yes, definitely keep your doors locked.
At least just eat the whole banana if you're going to do that.
Maybe he was full at that point.
Maybe.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look, first of all, at Doppler track. The showers and storms we had last night are across Michigan and northwestern Indiana, but they did bring some decent rainfall amounts, generally around a ½ inch of rain. A few places north and east of Madison had less than a ½ inch, and over southwestern Wisconsin, same thing. But right in between, from about Lone Rock to Madison, there was a narrow swath of about a ½ inch to an inch of rain. Current temperatures are generally in the 70s, although north of Madison, it's a little cooler where the cloud cover is a little thicker. Camp Douglas only at 66. Dew point temperatures upper 50s to lower 60s. So as temperatures get close to those readings tonight, we'll see some areas of fog form. And tomorrow look for a high of 79, but an alert day in the forecast for Saturday with a high of 90. Shower and thunderstorm chances late Sunday to Monday, and then temperatures around 80 for much of next week.
All right, thank you, Gary. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here in 30 minutes for News 3 at 6.